Hi everyone, this is Jay Johnson from dailytexture.com. Today I'm going to introduce you to a new collection called Pastel Squares, which is a group of pastel paintings I've made to give it a rough paper border around the edge and then the pastel center for you to put your subject right here in the middle of the square. Let me give you a closer look at this at one of the squares. They're available in 20. There's 20 different colors, but you can see let me blow this up here. This is the pastel, but this is the paper that it's on around the edge, and you can see the fine detail of that. I just wanted to try something a little different, and I painted up 20 of these. They look very similar, but each one of them are different. I tried to keep with the same tones with the dark down here and the brights up here, so the light could be coming into the subject from up here, because that's how many photos are, or at least many of mine. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples that I've made. Put this one on top. No, not that one. Hold on. This one. So you can see full size. This is a peony flower from my neighbor's garden. And with these, my intention is to be able to have a part of the subject come over the edge. With this one, I blended the flower with the pastel center of the texture. And then I also, on the flower layer, did some topaz impression work to make it a little more painterly. And then we have the osprey. Now this is a composite. I shot these photos last week. This is the osprey from Pickwick Dam, Tennessee, and she was quite upset that day. She was chasing off a lot of birds that were flying around her nest. The osprey and the nest were taken in two separate photos. First, I did the osprey and masked out her background and got her looking how I wanted, with her wings extending over the edge of the pastel square. And then I took a nest photo and blended it in very softly underneath her layer and just kind of made that a little softer so that it would look as if it's in the distance a little more. So those are just two examples, and we're going to do another one this morning. I'm going to try to do it very quickly, but we'll see how that goes. I know how my videos go because I tend to ramble. I'll try to get to the point. I'm going to use this little chickadee photo. This is at my feeder area, or my old feeder area outside, where I had a rope and a little swing set up, and the birds would land on it. And this little guy landed on this rope, and I just thought he was so cute. And the way the rope extends out like this, I thought it might work well to use with one of these pastel square textures. In this case, I've chosen this one because it has the green tones in it. He has the greens and yellow tones in the background. I'm doing this from scratch. I've done nothing at this point. I'm going to extend this out to make him just a little bigger. And I'm going to do a little bit of editing on him. We're going to denoise him first. There's the little fellow. Isn't he cute? I like moderate. Strong may work on this one. Strong sometimes I don't like because it takes away too much detail. But being this is a pastel background, in that case it may work okay to choose the strong denoise, because pastel is a soft medium, and therefore it won't be bothersome for him to have a little softness to him. So I'm going to do the strong denoise adjustment. Just see how that works. I can sharpen him back up later if I need to. Just wait on this to process. Okay. I'm going to try clarity. See if I can bump up his details a little bit. Oh yes, that made him pop. This is before, this is after. So let's click OK on that. I love the fur and feathers under the clarity adjustments. It works well for the birds, as it should. Let me see here how I want to position him. I'll lower the opacity. I kind of like him right there. That might work really well, him being right there. Now it's time to mask away his background. So I'm going to my masking tab. First, I'm going to take away as much of the green as I can with a very large brush, just so for time's sake, and get in as close as I can. I'll bring back his little head feathers. Sometimes when you use a large brush, it extends a little further than you'd like. I'll definitely get away or get rid of these edges. And you can see my little mask right here, how I'm doing. Just get in as close as I can. Keep lowering the brush size. I'm going to make him a little bigger now so I can lower the brush size and get in a little tighter right around his edge. And I will go back and forth in just a minute and refine all of this, because it's going to need it, especially where I've got that texture right over his head feathers. I'm just going around as close as I can. If some goes over him, that's okay, because I can bring it back if I need to. And let's go with a little bit smaller brush. Get in here and in here around these feet and his chest. And then I'm not real worried about this. I'll just do a little bit right here because I'm probably going to bring this over the rope. And right now I'm just worried about getting in tight around him and getting his structure down a little bit. Okay, now we're going to reverse and bring back some of his head feathers here where I got too much of the texture over his feathers. And his beak. And his eye. You want the sharpest points on these little guys to be their beaks and their eyes. I've got the smallest brush possible. Get in here and bring back this beak. I want that sharp. I'm going to go back the other way and trim up just around the beak a little bit. And right here in this corner. And I could even go in between these feathers. I'm not real worried about it because I don't need an exact mask, because I will bring some of this back over him to make him appear as if he blends with the texture. If I wanted an exact mask, I could choose Topaz Remask. I'm just trying to get most of the green out of the background. Now he still has some green tones. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's blow him up a little bit more so I can work on this head area. Now you can see it's a little choppy looking right here. So I'm going to reverse it and see where my green is. Right there. I'm still using a very strong opacity brush. But now I'm going to raise the brush size up and drop this flow. Lower the brush size to 2. It's just, he's such a small bird, you don't need much. Raise that flow up just a little bit. Flow is like opacity. Just come gently around the edges to get rid of the green and bring in the color of the background. And this particular color tone of the texture may work and may not. Now I'm going back the other way. Like I said, this is a back and forth with a very low opacity, See, I still have quite a bit of green there, but I wanted to show that little spikiness of his feathers on his head. So I'm going to try something else here in just a second. Right now I'm bringing back to see where his feathers spike out right there, because I kind of want to keep that. I'm going to go the other way. This time I'm going to bring up the edge of wear tool all the way over. This is supposed to pick up on these edges right here and get in there very closely. A little better. It's doing okay. Still not the way I like, so I'm putting it back. May have to change background color. Or I have another little trick. Let's raise this up. Just tap away some of this. Go ahead and bring back the green. Oh, there, I missed those feathers. There we go. Now I can see what I'm working with a little bit. Still a very soft, low opacity on the brush. Okay, so now it looks like he has this little green halo around him, which I don't like. I'm going back and forth, getting that beak clean again. Because there's such a distinct difference between his black feathers and this peachy tone, that's why I'm having issues with this. But I'm going to show you a little trick. Okay, so he has a little green halo that I can't seem to get masked away like I want because of the strong contrast between the black and the peachy tone. And I really kind of wanted to use this particular background because I thought the tones went nice with him. Okay, there's another tool on here, a saturation brush. And if you bring the strength to a minus direction and bring the brush size down real small, I can get in here. I'm on the bird layer. I can get in here, right here, around where this green is. And basically I'm using a saturation brush at a minus setting, which is desaturating the edges of those feathers where that green is showing. Like so. So the green is still there. It's just that that part of the green in there is now desaturated. So now let me go back to the masking and bring back a little bit of his background right here. Blend it a little better. And now go the other way. Bring some of this back down. Peachy tones. Went over his beak too much. Bring that back with a low brush, like a 2. And his head feathers. Went over that. Still has a little greeny tone there. Going back to the saturation tab. Strength is still on a minus number. Flow is up pretty high to desaturate, so I'm going to go back over that where that green tone is showing through. And basically I'm desaturating the green, which is making it black and white, but his head's black. So that's cool. That works for me. And then anywhere else where he's got this green tones here in his feathers, these are supposed to be white. I'm going to desaturate those a little bit too. Okay, and then I'm going to bring some of the texture back over his body after I desaturate this white area a little bit where it's picking up on the green tones. I need to move him over a little too to get in this tail area. And I'm going to desaturate this right here. Where this, I'm probably going to get rid of this, but just in case any of it shows, I want that green tones toned down. So I'm still working on the bird layer. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the masking and get still a very small brush, and I'm going to mask away his body, and which reveals the texture underneath right here, to make him become one with it and actually blend in with it. The tail, it would be in the distance, so to fade that in with the texture is completely okay. Now let's get right here, and I don't know what that is right there, but I'm getting rid of it, bringing the texture right over, and bring it right over his feet a little, which helps his feet and his leg feathers pick up the tones of the texture. You're just showing a hint of them. You don't have to show them exactly, because the viewer's mind will fill in the rest. They're going to say, oh, there's his leg. They don't have to see every little detail of his leg unless that's the focus of your image. The focus for me is the little guy on the rope in general, and then his eye and beak. So that's my most important area. So I'm actually masking away some of his body to blend him in right with the texture. There. Now let's go back out to full screen and see how he looks. Oh, he looks pretty good. I still need to mask away a little of this. Go with a bigger brush, fade this in a little more, and tone. I'm actually masking away some of these feathers to bring in the tone. Now I can always bring them back if I need to, and I will. I'll bring back some of it. They have a little bit of a bluish tone right here because of the color tones of the original photo. But that can be fixed with a soft light layer on top at the end of this. So he's blended in pretty good. Now let's work on the rope. Go back and make a big brush. Still have the flow down, so my opacity is very low. Get rid of some of this. I don't want him extending all the way out over the edge of the paper. Just a hint of it showing. Right there at the edge of the pastel. Like so. I'm going to make a smaller brush. Get in here right there. Just bring it right over it. You just need, like I said, the viewer will know there's rope there. They don't need to see every detail of it. Their mind will fill in the rest. And I'm blending away the edges of the rope now, just showing a hint of those little strands of it while I get rid of some of this green. Now, if I wanted to show more of the strands, but didn't want to show the green, I could desaturate along the edge of that rope, just like I did around the edge of him. The problem is the rope is a brown color. He's a black and white, so it's easy to desaturate him. But if you want to keep your color tones with your subject, then the desaturation, you have to be very precise with a very small brush. Now let's get rid of some of this. I want a little bit of this poking over the edge, this rope right here, to make it become one with the pastel. Now that's pretty good. But I'm thinking now, because of the blue tones in his body, I can do a couple of things. I'm going to duplicate the texture layer, put it on top, set it to soft light. Now, that's before, that's after. That brightened things, helped his body pick up the color tones from the texture. That's one more thing I could do. Another thing I could do is choose a different color from the set. So let me find the set. Because of the blue tones in him, maybe I should choose one with some blues. We can try this one, which that works nicely. Or we could try this one, which is a little darker, which that works nicely. Or we could try this one, has some blue greens, and that works okay. Not as happy with that one, with this bird. So we've got this one, which is very contrasty, and then we have this one, which he blends very well with. This one, I think the peach is a little strong. This one looks pretty good. And I still like that one. So I've got to decide whether I want to use this as a soft light layer or change the background. In this case, I really like the warmer tones, so I'm probably going to use this as a soft light layer, which helped the blues tone down of his body. So that's the route I'm going to go. Now I'm going to play with the opacity on this. This is no opacity of that soft light layer, and this is moving it back and forth. I don't want the edges real dark, so I'm just going to move it, let's see, off, on, off, on. That's about 36%. That looks pretty good to me. That way his body can pick up some of the color tones from the soft light layer of the same background, but now on top. And it makes him blend a little better. Now I want to play with his size a little bit. I want to see if I can enlarge him just a little. No, I like it the way I had it. He's a pretty tiny bird. I do see I have some masking to do here. So I'm going to work on this area a little bit and right in front of the beak. And you may not can see it. Sometimes when you zoom out, you can see things you missed and areas you need to work on. So I'm just going to tighten that up in there, get rid of some of that background. But his little head feathers are really, let me pull it up. They're really spiky. And I thought that was really cute. This was a baby. This was a young chickadee just starting out. So I thought it was super cute when he landed on the rope. All right, let me see if I can adjust him a little more. Let's go with no. Okay. Maybe just adjust this layer up a little bit more, like to around close to 50% on that soft light layer. I do need to work on this rope. I want a little more of that showing right there. So we're going to bring back with a big brush just right here some of the rope. Now I'm getting into the edge, which I don't want, but I do want this part right here. Now I'm going to mask away some of this. Get rid of this hard edge on the bottom. You don't want that. No hard edges. And then just gently tap those edges of that. There. Now he looks pretty cute. The next step I may do with this is go into Topaz Impression on just the bird layer and actually give him a little bit more of painterly qualities, which might blend him a little better with the pastel. I'm not sure if I'll do that, but I may. I'm not going to cover that in this video. I just wanted to show you just very briefly how I worked with these squares and how I try to extend part of the subject out over the edges. I may work on this rope just a little more and bring back some of it right here. I don't want it to look silly and like it's not supposed to be there. I want it to just be a very soft, very careful blend that makes sense. And I'm not sure that makes sense right there. This part makes sense because of the little spiky edges, but this part I may just blend that in a little way to fade that in the background. Like so. Because my focus needs to be right here. So basically, that's how I'm working with these. I hope you enjoy the set. I'm sure you guys will come up with some really creative ideas. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.